Good morning. Gujarat votes in the second phase of Assembly elections today. 93 constituencies covering the state's central and northern regions, including the biggest city Ahmedabad and the capital Gandhinagar. They all go to the polls today. Now, in the run-up to the 2024 elections, winning a seventh consecutive term in Gujarat is crucial for the BJP, which has been in power since 1995. The party has held a high-voltage campaign in the state, spearheaded by the Prime Minister. Amit Shah, the party's chief strategist, has set it a target of 140 seats. That's a steep climb from the 99 seats that it currently rules. The Congress, which won 77 seats in the last election, held a low-key campaign this time. Rahul Gandhi, who led from the front in the 2018 election, has been busy with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. He could spare only one day to campaign in Gujarat so far. Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party has pitched itself as the principal opposition to the BJP with a high decibel campaign that banked on its governance model in Delhi and in Punjab. Well, today is the second and last day of the polling in Gujarat. There have been lots of messages and tweets which have been coming in. Amit Shah says, I appeal to all voters of this phase, especially the youth, to vote in maximum numbers to elect a government with a thumping majority that will ensure peace and prosperity in Gujarat. The golden future of Gujarat lies in your vote, the Prime Minister tweeting, urging all those who are voting in phase 2 of the Gujarat elections, particularly the young voters and women voters, to vote in large numbers. I'll be casting my vote in Ahmedabad at around 9 a.m. My colleague Tanushree joins us live now from Ahmedabad. Tanushree, Ahmedabad, of course, huge today. Where exactly are you? Give us a sense of what you're seeing. Is there a sense of excitement, people turning out to vote?
Absolutely. Ahmedabad is a BJP bastion and extremely important for the Bharatiya Janata Party to win. We are right now in Shilaj constituency, where the incumbent Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel will be casting his ballot at about 8:30. He is the incumbent Chief Minister, and as the BJP has maintained that it's him on his face, BJP has fought these elections, and Amit Shah, at the starting of this election said that Bhupendra Patel is going to be our chief ministerial candidate, the face, if we win this election. So it's very important for Bhupendra Patel to win this constituency from where he will be casting his ballot, because it's a prestige battle for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and also considering that it's this time alone, it's a triangular contest they have to fight, not just against the Congress but also against the Aam Aadmi Party, which put its best foot forward, and especially in the urban pockets like Surat and in Ahmedabad. We saw road shows by Arvind Kejriwal when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was taking to the streets, wooing the voters to vote in favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So definitely no party left any stone unturned to woo the voters in their favor, and BJP especially, the BJP basically got their most popular face on the ground to woo the voters of Ahmedabad. We saw how Prime Minister Narendra Modi took out road shows for 2 consecutive days. So this is the polling booth where the incumbent Chief Minister will be coming and casting his ballot in a short while from now. For him, it is extremely important to win his seat, because he is the face, he is the chief ministerial face of the Bharatiya Janata Party, for whom it's a prestige battle to win in Ahmedabad.
Keep coming back to you, Tanushree, through the day. It's a very exciting day. It all comes down to this. Later on today, we'll get an idea of where things are going. There'll be a lot of exit polls which are also scheduled to come out, and then on the 8th is the big day when results will be out. But this is the final phase of voting in Gujarat. 2-phase election. We'll be looking at all of the key contestants in this phase, what it means for the various parties as well. Let's take a look at the Congress. The Congress sitting MLA Kanti Kharadi from the Scheduled Tribes Reserve Danta seat in Banas Khanta in North Gujarat has claimed that he was assaulted by the BJP candidate Ladhu Parghi. Kharadi claims that the BJP supporters were carrying weapons and that he had to escape given the heated atmosphere. Rahul Gandhi earlier tweeted that Kharadi was brutally attacked by BJP goons and that he had been missing. Well, we've got several reactions coming in. Hardik Patel, one of the key candidates. Let's just listen into what he's saying.
इस विधानसभा चुनाव में पूरे गुजरात के दूसरे फेज के सभी वोटरों को अपील करता हूँ कि मतदान जरूर करें और इस लोकशाही के सुंदर पर्व को मनाया जाए, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र में चुनाव ही एक ऐसी शक्ति है जहाँ पर आप अपने आप को शक्तिशाली प्रूव कर सकते हैं। तो मेरी तो सबसे अपील भी है और साथ ही साथ भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो शासन और जो शक्ति और सुशासन जो राज्य में रहा है और गुजरात की अस्मिता और गौरव के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जो काम किया है, तो मैं सभी गुजरातियों को अपील करता हूं कि सब साथ मिलकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की शक्ति को बढ़ाए और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को वोटदान करें।
हमारे साथ किंजल बेन है, हार्दिक पटेल की पत्नी। पहली बार चुनाव लड़ने जा रहे हैं। 2017 में पाटीदार जब आंदोलन हुआ था बहुत बड़े नेता थे, लेकिन तभी उनकी उम्र नहीं थी। किस तरह का माहौल है? काफ़ी नर्वसनेस है? घर में क्या माहौल है पहले वो बताएं। आप सुबह सुबह पूजा भी करने?
पूजा सब हमारे घर में सभी पूजा करके ही सारा काम करते हैं। हार्दिक भी पूजा करके ही घर से बाहर निकलते हैं, तो ये हमारा नित्य क्रम है। सभी का साथ है, ये दिख रहा है हमको। अभी तो कोई काफी इतना कड़ा मुकाबला नहीं दिख रहा है।
नहीं दिख रहा है।
नहीं।
अच्छा, घर वालों का अभी क्या कहना है? जो चुनाव का प्रचार था वो तो खत्म हो चुका है। 10 साल से यहाँ पर कांग्रेस थी, अब हार्दिक पटेल चुनाव में उतरे हैं। 17 में उतर नहीं पाए थे, लेकिन कांग्रेस के जो प्रत्याशी थे उनके लिए उन्होंने उस समय प्रचार किया था। अब बीजेपी से खुद वो जो प्रत्याशी के लिए उन्होंने प्रचार किया उसके सामने मैदान पर हैं।
देखो, उस टाइम वो कांग्रेस में थे तो स्वाभाविक है कि हम जहाँ होते हैं उनका काम करते हैं। तो वो विरोध पक्ष का काम ही होता है कि विरोध करना, तो वो उस टाइम वो कर रहे थे। अभी हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी में है, तो जहाँ है वहाँ के काम कर रहे हैं, वो ही हमारा एक नियम होता है। तो अभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी में है और हाईकमांड ने हमें इतनी अच्छी विश्वास रखी, इतनी अच्छी जिम्मेदारी दी है, तो हम उन पे खरा उतरेंगे, यही हम कहेंगे।
आखिरी सवाल, पूरा परिवार वालों से क्या बातचीत हुई? क्या कुछ कहा? आप लोग ने क्या कहा? पहला चुनाव है, बड़ा चुनाव है, उनकी उम्र कम है, सबसे युवा प्रत्याशी हैं और काफी बड़ा एक करियर आगे बचा हुआ है, तो परिवार वालों से क्या बातचीत हुई है?
सभी परिवार के आशीर्वाद हमारे साथ है और परिवार के अलावा भी सारे हमारी जो कम्युनिटी है, सारे विरमगाम की जनता है, सभी का साथ हमारे साथ है।
जो मैं गाड़ियों मैंने वापस की थी ना, उस टाइम भाजपा का खुद कैंडिडेट लादू पारगी था और उसके साथ एल के बारर था और उसका भाई वदन जी करके और भी था। वो सभी लोग आए थे, वो हथियारों के साथ आए थे और नीचे उतरे तो तलवार लेके उतरे थे। तो सबको पास इतना बहुत टोला था। मैंने सोचा कि यहाँ रुकने की जरूरत नहीं है, रुकेंगे तो बहुत गड़बड़ होगी, तो अब निकल जाने में अच्छा है।
All right, so just in case you're tuning in, it is a huge day today, the second and final phase of voting in Gujarat taking place today. Lots of key candidates, lots of key constituencies. We'll bring you all of those details in the next little while. For now, this short break. Welcome back. Critical elections today. Gujarat voting in phase 2 of these elections. 93 constituencies in total go to the polls today. These cover the central and northern regions of the state, including Ahmedabad, the biggest city, and the capital Gandhinagar. They go to the polls today. In the run-up to the 2024 elections, winning a 7th consecutive term in Gujarat is what the BJP considers crucial. They've been in power since 1995. The party has held a high-voltage campaign. It's been spearheaded by the Prime Minister. Amit Shah has been the party's chief strategist. They've set themselves a target of 140 seats. That's a steep climb up from 99 seats that they currently have. The Congress won 77 seats in the last election. They held a low-key campaign this time. Rahul Gandhi, who led from the front in 2018, is busy with the Bharat Jodo Yatra and could spare only one day to campaign in Gujarat. Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party has pitched itself as the principal opposition to the BJP with a high decibel campaign that banked on their model of governance in Delhi and in Punjab. So let's break this down for you. Lots of heavyweight contestants in phase 2. Here are some of the big ones. From Ghatlodiya is the Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. From Virangam, Hardik Patel, the BJP leader, a key leader of the Patidar community. He joined the BJP from the Congress party, seen to be a huge leg up for the BJP. Naroda Payal Kokrani from the BJP, the youngest BJP candidate in the fray this time, the daughter of a 2002 riot convict and somebody who's been actually contesting, or somebody who's been campaigning for his daughter Payal, quite controversially on this particular occasion. All right, we will look at some of the other key areas and key candidates in a little while from now. Let's go straight across to my colleague Ankit Tyagi. He is at the booth, or just outside the booth, where in Ahmedabad, where the Prime Minister is going to be voting. So what are Mr. Modi's plans, Ankit?
Well, Vishnu, as it is always associated with the Prime Minister, even his voting day, his right to exercise his franchise has also become an event as far as BJP is concerned. This is the school. I'll just show you very quickly, because the police right now is getting quite jittery here, because the Prime Minister is expected in about 15 minutes. So the media and the people are being pushed around. That's the school, the Nishan, school, where the Prime Minister for the last many elections has been exercising his franchise. So he will be here in just a short while from now. Massive security arrangements being put in place. But Vishnu, when we were coming here, throughout this route, you will see these barricades, these kind of barricades, which has been put up by the police, and it's almost become a road show. I can't call it officially a road show, because that would be in violation of the Election Commission guidelines. But the fact is that there is, of course, massive arrangements which have been made, and you'll see a lot of people early in the morning, also coming and waiting for the Prime Minister. When I was right at the entry of this booth, in the Sabarmati Vidhan Sabha, in fact, this is where a lot of people early in the morning were in fact, standing in the queues. So the whole exercise, the whole Election Commission coming out and making an appeal, asking people to come out and vote. Because of the first phase, we saw low voting percentage, specifically in the urban areas. That, Vishnu, seems to be at least early in the morning, where the Prime Minister is going to come and vote. Long queues are quite encouraging, and it, of course, will be quite encouraging for the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. Urban voter, this is where the BJP thinks, and at least the perception is that they have an upper hand. But a lot of people here have also come to see the Prime Minister. So that's why you will see a lot of people around early in the morning. Families also coming in and voting. What I'll try and do, you can hear all these whistles and policemen asking us to get behind the barricades. So we'll try and find a spot for ourselves as well. But at this moment, this is, if you look at this booth at least, you won't see the reflection that we saw in Surat, in Rajkot in the first phase, which in fact has many of the poll pundits and political parties thinking of, what is the impact it will have on the final results on 8th.
Ankit, it's interesting, because in as much as we are focusing on the voting today, and obviously by about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we'll get initial trends. Even before that, how many people are turning out, and that in itself is interesting. What does it reflect, a high voter turnout? What does it reflect if it's a low voter turnout? The number of women contesting, that is a huge factor in all elections. But I think the really interesting aspect of today would be later on, when several exit polls are expected. Now, exit polls have gone notoriously wrong in the past, but it is by and large somewhat of an indicator, particularly if you take an aggregate of all the exit polls. And then, of course, the big day on the 8th of this month. So it's the final phase now. Give us an idea of a sense of excitement that you see on the ground.
You rightly said that, in the evening today, of course, all the focus would be on the exit polls. But final day of voting here in Gujarat. And just to break this whole thing down, 93 constituencies today which are going to poll. Apart from the urban center of Ahmedabad, 16 seats here overall in Ahmedabad. If you also calculate the rural areas, it becomes 23 seats. The last time the BJP had won 21 out of those 23 seats. But let's not forget, it's just not the BJP pocket boroughs, but it is also the north and the central Gujarat, which especially in the north areas, in the tribal areas, areas dominated by the SC/ST, that's where the Congress also finds a lot of people who had voted for the Congress party in 2017, which made the contest so interesting last time. Out of the 93 seats, if I remember correctly, Congress had in fact got about 38, if I'm not mistaken, and the BJP had got about 43 of odd seats at that point of time, and then rest went to some allies of the Congress party and independents. But the fact is, Vishnu, that this is not like a one-sided done deal. Yes, during the election, during the election campaign, there was a very low-key campaign that the Congress was banking on. And on 8th, we'll know whether this new style of campaigning of the Congress party, at least what they claim, has resulted in any kind of success. Have they been able to retain their strongholds, or has the BJP, or a triangular contest in many areas because of the Aam Aadmi Party, has cut into its vote? And in certain urban pockets, has the Aam Aadmi Party, which many believe is working like a double-edged sword. In some urban pockets, it is impacting the BJP voters. In others, it is impacting the Congress voters in the rural and tribal areas. Has that, what kind of an impact has it had? We'll know on 8th. But the fact is, in the second phase, if you overall look at the picture and compare it to 2017, more or less a slight edge to the BJP, but more or less it is very evenly poised between the BJP and the Congress. Now, the new factor this time, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party, and what kind of a campaign, because we've seen a high decibel campaign, the Prime Minister making sure that, they take it home in fact, the urban pockets. 2 back-to-back road shows, one a 50-kilometer long road show, then a 12-kilometer long road show the following day. He covered all the constituencies as far as Ahmedabad is concerned. So last time, if it was Surat and Ahmedabad, which made sure that the BJP stays in power after the low voting and a triangular contest which is expected in Surat, the BJP going all out in Ahmedabad to make sure that they maximize it, so that even if in certain, because, you travel out of Ahmedabad and just a few kilometers out of Ahmedabad, go off the highway, and you will see how many pockets have been left behind in this whole development model, specifically in the tribal areas where people have come out and expressed their franchise in a very high voter percentage. So that's going to be interesting to see on 8th, how these trends play out when the final result comes in.
Yeah, no, we're looking at that very closely. We'll come back to you in just a little bit. Let's go across to Sohit Mishra, who's outside the residence of one of the key candidates, Hardik Patel, in Virangam in Ahmedabad. Give us an idea of what's happening around you, Sohit.
Well, Vishnu, in some time, Hardik Patel will be going and casting his vote. I am right outside his residence, where you will see huge media present. As you said, he is one of the key candidates. One of the reasons why in 2017 Congress got record seats. In 2017, one thing that is very interesting, that Hardik Patel even campaigned for Lakhabhai Bharwad, who is the current MLA from Congress. Now, this seat has been with Congress for the last 10 years. But now Hardik Patel is contesting on this seat against Lakhabhai Bharwad himself from the BJP ticket. Now, few months ago he was in Congress, then he shifted to BJP. The things that he has been talking about since morning as well, he met the reporters in the morning, where he once again mentioned about Narendra Modi, the Ram Temple, the Section 370 being abolished. All these things are being mentioned. The Hardik Patel, who campaigned in 2017 for Congress, is now saying that in this seat, in the last 10 years, the development hasn't been happening in the way that should happen. And once the BJP comes back in power, as well as when he wins this seat, the campaigning will happen. He's also saying that the Patidars as well as the Patel community is with him, and he will be winning this seat. So this is an important seat as well as important candidate, because in 2017 Hardik Patel was 21-22 years old. He was below 25, and that is also one of the reasons why he could not contest the elections. But in 2022, when Hardik Patel is contesting the election, he is contesting from BJP against Congress as well as Aam Aadmi Party candidates in a place where Congress has been in power for 10 years. They have been winning this seat in the last 2 elections. However, now things have changed. Hardik Patel has joined the BJP. So it would be very important for his career as well as for the seat to see that what actually happens. And this would also depend on how many people do actually turn out to vote. We saw what happened in the first phase. So that is another factor that needs to be kept in mind. However, Hardik Patel is confident. He is saying that the people are with him. So a very interesting seat Viramgam is, and Hardik Patel says that he'll win. Only time will tell, because the Aam Aadmi Party candidate is the same who in 2017 contested as an independent candidate, but still got more than 10,000 votes.
All right, so we leave it over there. I'm joined now by Dr. Manisha Priyam and Prashant Gadhavi. Both of them are political analysts looking very closely at this. Dr. Manisha Priyam, if you look at the phase 2 results last time around, the BJP got 48.8% of the votes. The Congress and its allies got 41.9%. Is there a sense now that in this particular area, given what we've seen in terms of campaigning, given what we've seen in terms of the buzz, there's a real expectation that a large number of those votes which went to the Congress might shift to the Aam Aadmi Party?
That's something that is put to test. We do not know as yet. Large parts of what have gone to the elections today are, as you're aware, Banaskantha, the Dangs, and therefore in these areas, I'm not aware if the Aam Aadmi Party has such a stronghold. So what we hear is really only a buzz as of now. And if the Aam Aadmi Party does well in the urban centers, it would be taking away from the BJP votes. But if it's doing well in the tribal centers, that would be a real surprise, because this has been a stronghold of the Congress party. The BJP contest is very hard. Remember always the Pradhan Mantri himself talking of Birsa Munda and Karya Munda being his close ally in all the past elections. Remember always Gujarat has more than national average of scheduled tribe votes, and the areas that go to elections today, the scheduled tribes play a very, very important role. Also, the caste of the Thakurs, where very strong politics has been played. The BJP is a 24/7 political party. Now, Alpesh Thakur, when he aligned then with Jignesh Memani and Hardik Patel, one of the first people to be taken away was Alpesh Thakur by the BJP and the Prime Minister's initiatives. Thakur, of course, went on to lose that vote, but the Thakur votes here matter very much. The Thakur here, not to be confused with the Thakur understanding in north of India. It is an upwardly mobile, solidly entrenched OBC community. So I believe very much that the battle here still is classic BJP versus Congress. If the Aam Aadmi Party makes a dent, for people like us, it would be a page that we would like to academically study. As of now, I do not see the Aam Aadmi Party making a dent in the tribal areas.
Okay. Prashant Gadhavi, would you like to comment, in terms of the areas over here, whether it's SC voters, the tribal community or the OBC community, where do you see the various parties, the Congress, BJP and Aam Aadmi Party, have their strongholds?
See, 2017 situation was different. This time Aam Aadmi Party has tried very much to get penetrated. But what we see is a lot of focus on the phase 1, which was Saurashtra, Kutch and South Gujarat. Across the Gujarat, Aam Aadmi Party has got little bit success in South Gujarat only. So their entire focus was there only. In phase 2, which is Central Gujarat and North Gujarat, we don't see much Aam Aadmi Party. So Aam Aadmi Party is going to dent definitely, but at Saurashtra and Surat only, not in this phase. Yes, major, even Prime Minister himself has shouted loudly that please be aware with the Congress, please don't underestimate the Congress, because they are doing very hidden, they are running very hidden agenda and doing door-to-door campaigning. So even BJP is claiming that Congress is there in the competition, not Aam Aadmi Party. Especially out of 192 seats, I doubt that Aam Aadmi Party has focused more than 25 seats. So, and their campaigning from the day one was, if you don't like a Congress as an opposition, please like us. If you don't like BJP or a Congress, then like us. So it clearly shows that they were not in the race of, forming the government. That is okay. You can claim over the PC and everything, but Aam Aadmi Party's focus was not there. Yes, BJP versus Congress, but this time you can see from the turnout ratio of phase 1 election, it was very much pain as well as worry to the political party, because they were expecting that as voter has created their awareness towards the caste voting, but not turned out of more than 70%. So really worry, because last time it was a Patidar agitation, Thakur agitations and lot of anti-incumbency factor. But still it end up with 69%. And this time it ranges into the 63-64%.
Right.
So nobody claim very easily that what is going to happen, because definitely triangle fight is there, not across the Gujarat, but phase one of triangle contest will affect somewhere to the BJP. At the same time, if you look at the closely to all the candidates of Aam Aadmi Party, earlier, before 6 months, we were thinking that Aam Aadmi Party is going to dent a Congress vote polarization. But now situation is different, because Patidar of Aam Aadmi Party against Patidar of BJP candidate, Thakur of Aam Aadmi Party against Thakur of BJP candidate. So polarization is happening between BJP and Aam Aadmi Party much more in the phase one. The phase two, very high profile seats, majorly pro BJP, because major urban area like Ahmedabad and Baroda city. So this is the hardcore BJP area or a belt. So I doubt there is no Congress may not get that much benefit of today's phase two.
I just wanted to go back to Dr. Manisha Priyam. Let's talk about three young guns over here. Hardik Patel, Alpesh Thakur and Jignesh Mewani. One is a Dalit leader, one is an OBC leader, one is a Patidar leader. Could you give us an idea of the fact that the loss of two of them to the Congress is a huge gain for the BJP in these elections, and what do these three leaders actually bring in this phase?
Hardik Patel is a real gain to the BJP. The Patidar were a classic BJP voter. Their discontent was agrarian discontent, rural discontent. Remember, rural discontent tends to, help the Congress party. And Hardik was a face and a name. I mean, he was the one person, who stood up against the regime, went to jail, did his Facebook campaigns, and built a solid base in the rural areas. And, that coupled with the content against the GST, which was centered in Surat, you can imagine that there was a story, a script that was coming up where rural discontent could combine hypothetically, politically, with some amount of urban trader angst against the BJP. That story was not good for the BJP. You saw many chief ministerial changes, and there was need for an accommodation of the Patidars. Therefore, the most unexpected, the most difficult gain for the BJP has been the bringing in of Hardik Patel and the blunting of the Patidar anger against the Bharatiya Janata Party. And classic for Gujarat has been the Patidar anger since national movement. I think Patidar anger and rural discontent have fueled the classic Congress political base in the state of Gujarat. Now, as far as Alpesh Thakur is concerned, I have already said Thakur's was unexpected because these three were considered a threesome. But the first one to be taken away was Thakur. It meant, therefore, that Thakur had, in a sense, stood up against his community. More or less, his community was inclined towards the BJP, but he was one of those leaders who had the promise of shifting away the solid OBC base of the BJP towards, the Congress party or any opposition to the BJP.
Right.
So the coming together of these two has meant that the BJP has built a new base in the state of Gujarat. No longer is it reliant on the old base of Anandiben Patel, etc. But there is a new Patel leader that they've been able to get in their basket. Very, very important. Now, only the opposition of Jignesh Mewani, the Dalit card, remains outside, very, very strong. Now, if the Aam Aadmi Party is able to pull Jignesh Mewani to their side, remember, the Aam Aadmi Party would not just have a vote base that it would have chipped away largely from the Congress party, but also maybe a Dalit political card on their side. But that's all hypothetical in the air. As of now, BJP is the winner. These two.
Right. Okay, Manisha, thanks very much. And Mr. Gadavi, thanks very much for being with us. Let's just go back to NDTV's Ankit Tyagi, who's just outside the booth where the Prime Minister is scheduled to vote any time now. Give us an idea of what's happening around you, Ankit.
Well, here the preparations, the final preparations before the Prime Minister's convoy arrives here, Vishnu. The security checks are done. There are massive arrangements which have been made. Media has been pushed behind this barricade ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. Few, in fact, people still coming in to vote. It does take a little bit of inconvenience, in fact, for people. I will show you this old couple which is now, in fact, going to vote. They had to walk a little bit because of the security arrangements. People can't bring their vehicles because of the Prime Minister's arrival here. We are expecting the Prime Minister to reach here in 15 to 20 minutes. A lot of people from other constituencies, they may not have the vote here, but are just standing here to come and see the Prime Minister. That's about the preparations, but it will be an important day to see the kind of voting percentages that people are talking about ahead of the after the first phase low voter turnout in urban areas. There is hope that at least after Prime Minister's he led the entire campaign for the BJP in Ahmedabad with his road shows, there will be at least a few more people, those who are coming out and would be voting here. But Vishnu, very quickly, since you were talking about Hardik Patel, Alpesh Thakur and Jignesh Mevani, Hardik did seem as a big Patidar leader that the BJP has been able to get, but it's not that Hardik Patel's constituency, Biramgam, is going to be a cakewalk. At least that's the indication right now. Of course, all this will be validated on 8th because even yesterday, the Patidar Amanat movement, the pass which Hardik Patel used to spearhead in 2017, they have come out and appealed against Hardik Patel. In fact, there are a lot of local BJP leaders, those who were not happy with Hardik Patel getting the ticket from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Similar story in Gandhinagar South for Alpesh Thakur as well. That is why the Home Minister had to personally go and, of course, campaign for both Hardik and Alpesh Thakur. Now, both of them have come from the Congress Party, and this is how the BJP this time. And you talk to a lot of analysts, it's not about anti-incumbency, but the BJP knows how to manage the election better. And that's the reason why, to cull the anti-incumbency, the entire cabinet was changed. 19 rebels still there. But, even if the BJP, even if they win, the expectation is eventually they are going to land up in the Bharatiya Janata Party. Apart from that, 17 turncoats are in the fray this time from of the Congress Party, which have been given ticket by the BJP. So it is very, minute election management on every booth and on every constituency, which seems to be giving a BJP an edge. Not much about the 27 years of anti-incumbency and the issues that people are facing. Take, for example, every young leader, every youth in travel around will tell you that paper futio or the examination paper leak is such a big issue. 25 of such incidents have taken place in the last 5 years. But the fact is, no other political party, neither the Congress nor the Aam Aadmi Party, has been able to galvanize a movement around this. And since they have not, that is why we don't see, an atmosphere like 2017, where the Patidar movement did galvanize a lot of sentiments against the ruling dispensation. Right. Having said that, there are still pockets in the tribal areas in North Gujarat which may still hold against the BJP's wave, because if you say that the Prime Minister is the X factor, largely, and look at the history of Gujarat, you will not find that X factor working so well for the BJP in the tribal and in the traditional rural belt. That is why the focus is largely more on these areas like Ahmedabad, where the BJP can consolidate and maximize their gains.
All right, Ankit, thanks very much. But just before we let you go for a little while, and it'll be a very short little while, give us an idea of the voter turnout around you. The Prime Minister is going to be voting over there. Lots of people queuing up, or is there a huge security presence? What's happening?
When I had come here early in the morning at around 8 o'clock, there was, in fact, before 8 o'clock, right at that entrance of this polling booth, there were a lot of people, those who had come in and they were standing in the queue waiting to go in even before the polling started. Of course, there are more supporters or onlookers, curious onlookers, and of course massive security poses. So if you look at my frame right now, you may see a huge amount of activity and people in it, but 80% of that will be constituted of the security and of course the onlookers. There are people, those who are coming in. Aapka vote yahin par hai, sir?
No, I'm next society.
Acha, so you will see a lot of people, those who have come out, and they'll go and vote little later. And if you are around this area right now, the Ranip area, the Nishan school, make sure that you don't park your vehicles, your two-wheelers here. The police vans are on the prowl. They are picking up people's vehicles and taking it off because the Prime Minister is about to come here. So Vishnu, early morning there were long queues, people still trickling in, not as, I don't see a problem. I mean, you can straight away go and you will be able to vote. The senior police officers of Gujarat are right now coming to this booth to ensure that the security arrangements are up to the mark, and we are expecting the Prime Minister to be here in the next 10 to 15 minutes, Vishnu.
All right, 10 to 15 minutes, the Prime Minister should be over there as well. Just another quick question, in terms of the areas where voting is taking place today, there are areas where the SC community is very strong, the tribal community is very strong, and then of course the Thakur OBC community is very strong as well. Where does the Aam Aadmi Party stand, for example, in tribal areas? Some would suggest that they haven't really made the deep inroads that they were looking for.
Yeah, that's a good one, Vishnu, because the Aam Aadmi Party, and if you look at the pattern and the campaigning as well for the Aam Aadmi Party, I think the first phase was the make or break phase, or possibly whatever the Aam Aadmi Party is going to get would come from the first phase. In the second phase, the campaign was not as strong. Even they found difficulty in finding good candidates in many of the seats. Also, the whole triangular aspect in Surat, you don't see that kind of a similar situation, let's say in Ahmedabad for the Aam Aadmi Party. There are a few seats where they fought the election, their candidate is strong, but as I told you, the election management of the BJP, for example, there are 3 seats in Ahmedabad which have a substantial population of the minority of the Muslim voter. There are 40, in one seat there are 46 candidates standing, apart from the BJP, Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. Out of those 46, 38 are Muslim candidates. Many people believe that they are prop-up candidates, those who ensure that the anti-vote is split so widely that the BJP is able to sail through in these seats as well, as they did in 2017. So speaking about the Aam Aadmi Party, in the second phase, it doesn't look like they have much on the board right now. In the tribal areas, though I must concede, I went in Saurashtra, a few places where people were quite impressed with the free bijli, promises that they had made, the guarantee for pension and all. They had those guarantee card in their pockets as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. But largely, when people, in certain pockets, they do galvanize behind a candidate who possibly can defeat the incumbent MLA.
Right.
Whether the Aam Aadmi Party, apart from the urban areas, has been able to create that hype, that narrative, we'll know, on 8th, whether it was just a surface or they had deep inroads.
All right, we'll come back to you in a little while, take a short break, come back with, to the very latest second phase polling taking place in Gujarat now. It is a 2-phase election, the results of which will be announced on the 8th, but lots of key constituencies are polling today, and it is very much a make or break phase for all the 3 parties, the main parties, the Congress, BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. We'll look more closely at some of the key candidates in the next little while and also bring you the latest on voter turnout. Stay tuned. In terms of seats, the BJP had 48 and votes, had 48.8% of votes with 51 seats. The Congress and its allies 41.9% of votes with 40 seats. So that's what is taking place now. The Aam Aadmi Party contesting afresh this time around, and the sense is that they'd gain a large number of those Congress votes. But let's finally see what happens. But Ankit, let's go back to you. That's what's at stake today. We'll know by the end of the day. The voting trends and of course the results on the 8th, but I think the sense of excitement today will also be linked to exit polls. Several of those should be coming out. Those are often wrong, but you'd get a general sense, a general trend if you take an average of what exactly various exit polls are saying to give you an idea of who's likely to be doing better. I think we'd also really need to start looking out for the number of voters coming out. Remember what happened in the first phase. Would there be a stronger showing this time around? And how important is that? Is that a preliminary indicator of which way these elections are headed? Just a few thoughts, Ankit. Why don't you build on that?
traditionally the understanding would be, Vishnu, that if there is an overwhelming anger against the dispensation, the incumbent, then a lot more people come out to vote, because people would think that usually people come out in anger and that's why they would want to vote. This time, if you just see in the urban areas, which are the strong pockets of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Surat, Rajkot in the first phase, that's where the voting percentage was less. But a word of caution in that as well when you make that analysis. Barring 2017, forget 2017. If you go behind, if you go to 2012 and even backtrack from there, there has been this trend in the urban centers where the voting percentage has been low. Traditionally, the tribal areas do vote around 70%, but despite that, in the last 27 years, the BJP has done well. And that's what they are falling back. You speak to your leaders, and off record, they will say, we are not much worried. Though, when it comes to Surat, many of them would admit, in Rajkot, many of them would admit, because BJP had a clean sweep in Surat. BJP, out of the 16 seats, they won 14. They had a clean sweep in 4 seats of Rajkot as well. That's where they think, in Jamnagar, for instance, where Rivava Jadeja is one of the constituents, one of the candidates for the BJP. In her constituency, the voting percentage was 54%. Many people are trying to look at whether the BJP voter has not come out because, of course, there are inflation and other anti-incumbency factors as well. But the fact is, on the ground, people will tell you that the BJP, among all the political parties, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, has a better machinery to bring people out and ensure that their voters do come out and vote. And I'll give you an example. This time, like you often hear in every election, Panna Pramukh, one Panna Pramukh is in charge of 30 voters. This time, what the Bharatiya Janata Party has done, they have put 5 sub-in-charge under the Panna Pramukhs. So there are 6 people manning 30 voters for the Bharatiya Janata Party. That's the kind of machinery that they are relying on, despite 27 years of anti-incumbency, despite the problems that people will count when you go out and speak to them. Also, the other important factor, which we'll also know, the indications of which we'll know, by the end of the day and once the result comes in, because there are 3 things that at least I would be looking at on 8th, and of course indication in the exit poll. Number 1, whether the Aam Aadmi Party has been able to make any dent, and number 2, whether the Congress Party has been hold on to their traditional areas, because for the Congress Party, it's largely being said that this time the campaign, without the Gandhis, without any big star campaigner, they have focused on man-to-man marking, on trying to go their candidates and their leaders going to every single door and knocking there. Whether that has had any impact, that is going to be a very, very interesting thing that we will also have to see, because Vishnu, this possibly, whatever the result is, if the Aam Aadmi Party gets 15 to 18% or maybe 20% vote, then we would also know who the challenger for 2024 is, who is the person, which party seems to be, whatever the result is in Gujarat is, even if it is a surprising victory for anybody else, but this will give you an indication who will be the pan-India challenger as far as the BJP is concerned. So all those will be very interesting factors. And apart from that, Jignesh Mevani, we were talking about him. It's very strong individual leaders for the Congress Party which have a hope in this election. In terms of resources, the BJP has outspent every other political party. Just the Aam Aadmi Party tried to match it in hype, but whether on the ground they have been, below the surface, they have been able to penetrate deep, that we would only know on 8th of December. Like in Surat, they were able to create triangular contest in many seats. Which way has that benefited? Whether it is benefiting the Congress or the anti-BJP vote is getting split, and that is resulting, in help as far as the BJP is concerned. A similar pattern would also be seen in the minority-dominated constituencies where the AIMIM, Asaduddin Owaisi's party, is fighting the election. 14 candidates they had put up. 1 candidate switched to the Congress Party. 13 right now in the fray. whether they are able to divide the minority vote, and eventually that helps the BJP. All these are very, very important factors and indicators that we will, possibly be able to look at during the exit poll, and of course when the result comes in. But the voting percentage is going to be an important, academically also, to make the analysis that if the voting percentage is not high, does that create an upset? And even with a low voting percentage, how the election has been managed, that are going to be key, interesting, indicators as well. Let me show you around. Here, already a lot of Bharat Mata ki Jai and Vande Mataram. In fact, you will hear from a lot of people, those who are at this moment, in fact, standing all across this constituency and the polling booth. Few people still trickling in. I'll show you something very interesting. A lot of voters, a lot of voters there standing behind those barricades where a huge crowd, in fact, has gathered. I don't know whether all of them are voters and have they been stopped or not, but the fact is that only a few people, like this gentleman, just one gentleman that you will see, has been rushed inside the polling booth because what we hear is that all these, the wireless walkie-talkies of the security forces are now started to crackle. It will show that the Prime Minister is near, but he's not. It would have taken the Prime Minister about 8 to 10 minutes from his place to come for this voting exercise. But along the way, there are supporters who have lined up all along the way, and these kind of arrangements with these kind of barricades have been made. That would tell you that the speed of the convoy is quite slow. So it is an unofficial road show of sorts which is going on. Of course, these things are raised, questions are raised on this by the opposition parties as well on a day of the voting, if this kind of display should be allowed or not. But that's a fact right now on the ground in Ahmedabad. The Prime Minister coming through that entire route. The convoy is not at a very fast pace. Seeing people waiting to in fact catch a glimpse of the Prime Minister, and whether all the analysts, whether you acknowledge all or not, this does have an impact just ahead of the people those who are coming to go out and vote, and that is exactly what we are seeing in the people those who have gathered here as well. Many of them have not voted themselves, but waiting for the Prime Minister to come in, and that's the kind of atmosphere, the strength of the BJP electoral machinery that we see on display right now. Of course, questions also being raised whether, as I told you, whether it should be allowed or not. But at this moment, Vishnu, this is how the streets of Ahmedabad are lined up, and they look like. So when the Prime Minister comes from the place where he has started and he comes here, there are two constituencies that he will cross before he enters Sabarmati. So the impact is just not going to be on this polling station or the area around this, but at least the three constituencies, including Sabarmati, that the Prime Minister would be using to reach this place. That's the route that the Prime Minister would be using. I'm just tossing it back to you in just a short while from now. The Prime Minister will in fact come. You also heard the candidate from here, quite confident, I must say. And when I asked him whether it is just Prime Minister Modi's face and everybody else is replaceable, quite an admission there that no, yes,
Break,
Prime
we'll
Minister
come back to you in a few moments from now.
But
let me just quickly go across to Aarti Jairath, who also joins us. Aarti, as we see these images of this road which has been opened up, the Prime Minister's motorcade will be there. Just reflect on the fact that as far as the BJP is concerned, this, like other elections, it's all about one man, Narendra Modi. We can talk about issues ad nauseum, but ultimately, this is the moment for the BJP. This is the basis on which they expect votes to come in.
Absolutely. This is, in Gujarat, it's always been about Narendra Modi. From 2002 onwards, it's always been about Narendra Modi, and he's just grown bigger and bigger after he became Prime Minister. So, the votes are going to be cast for Modi, although everybody knows that he's not going to be the Chief Minister. But they expect that, from Delhi, the long hand of Delhi will also run Gujarat and, make their lives better. But, Vishnu, I want to make one comment about this low voter turnout we saw in the last phase, and the fact that the Election Commission had to issue an appeal to voters to come out in large numbers. I don't know whether, I'm not making a prediction whether it's, going to help the incumbent government or going to go against the incumbent government. But I think the fact that the voter turnout has been so low is a comment on the kind of governance that the BJP has delivered in Gujarat over the last 5 years, particularly in the urban areas, which are the BJP strongholds. If voters are not coming out to vote, I think they're just expressing their dissatisfaction, their disillusionment, and their apathy. At what they've been through in the last 5 years, particularly through those 2 years of COVID. I mean, Gujarat, along with UP, these were the two states where COVID was managed very, very badly. And I think it's a kind of silent protest. I think the BJP is still winning way ahead, because I don't think the Congress and the AAP can challenge it in its, in Modi's home turf. But I think there is a kind of silent message that voters are sending to the BJP that, about their governance over the last 5 years.
By actually not turning up in very large numbers.
That's right, absolutely.
Because the traditional way of looking at it would be that the people are satisfied with the state government, which is why, the voting percent, the numbers coming out relatively low, because people don't really want or not fighting for a change.
Well, I mean, I think that, if there was this enthusiasm for the election, you would have seen people come out, whether they're fighting for change or not for change. Enthusiasm could be to endorse incumbent government. Enthusiasm could also be to change a government, So, but the fact is that people are not enthusiastic, not even enthusiastic enough to do nota. That's how low the voter percentage is. And it's very unusual that the Election Commission had to issue this appeal today, not today, 2-3 days ago, asking people to come out in larger numbers.
So Aarti, tell me this.
Something which is not, a happy situation.
Aarti, tell me this, as we wait for those shots of the Prime Minister coming in. This phase today, there's the SC vote, which is critical, the tribal vote, and then, of course, the Thakur OBC community. Where do you see, when we've spoken about the BJP, but where do you see the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party have a significant stake in garnering votes in these groups today? Is there any particular stronghold for them?
Well, these many of these constituencies which are voting today, like Banaskantha and so on, these have been traditional Congress strongholds. And the last two elections, the Congress has done very, very well in these areas. But what I just fail to understand is why the Congress has been so low key in Gujarat. After the bump they got 5 years ago, you'd have thought they would have built on that and, kind of really created a stir before these elections. Because I do feel that, and the low voter turnout is, I think, a reflection of that. I do feel that there is a kind of disappointment in Gujarat, which the Congress could have harnessed. But why the Congress has not done it, I really don't know.
Right.
And, and therefore, it's going to be very interesting to see. And I don't know whether AAP has been able to make inroads into the tribal areas, into the Muslim votes, the Muslim, SC, ST. These are the three.
Okay, Aarti, I'm just interrupting you now because we are told that at any time now the Prime Minister should be arriving to vote. Again, as we've been mentioning, for the BJP, this is a huge moment. Everything in this election rests on Narendra Modi, his identity, his association with Gujarat. That's the way they've pitched Narendra Modi, not just for these elections, but for essentially all elections. Ankit, let me go back to you. Give us an idea of what's happening around you.
Right, Vishnu. While you were having the discussion here, what we have been told is that any moment now you will see on my frame the convoy, the first car of the convoy of the Prime Minister. The security personnel have been asked to take their positions. All people, those who are even standing on some rooftops have been asked to, in fact, move back. So all indications that in just a few moments the Prime Minister's convoy will be on these screens. And as you said, important moment for the BJP. This is for the BJP, always Gujarat, battle of prestige for the Prime Minister. Himachal's, kick-started this very hectic calendar of state elections. Himachal, then Gujarat, and of course 4 big elections next year as well, leading up to 2024. But Gujarat will be very, very important in that aspect as far as the BJP is concerned. The indications that they would want to send across from here, that the Prime Minister popularity look is quite intact. Any kind of low voter percentage for the Bharatiya Janata Party, or in fact any other political party, AAP or the Congress, doing perceptionally or slightly better, would in fact give some sort of a shot in the arm as far as the opposition is concerned. So, talking about what's happening right now, this is an important election, and in this important election, the second phase where the Prime Minister himself, between Amit Shah and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there have been more than 65 rallies and roadshows, Vishnu. That will tell you the importance of the Gujarat election as far as the BJP is concerned. 65 between both of them. And in the last 2 days, or day and a half of the campaign ending, the Prime Minister did 2 big road shows and 6 rallies in a day and a half. And since then, of course, you've seen constant visuals of the Prime Minister in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad. Having said that, like we were talking about, whether the low voter turnout, whether it is just an indication of people being satisfied with the government, well, I would also think that it's just not about the satisfaction of the government. The low voter turnout also tells you that despite all the problems that most of the people have, and trust me, we've spoken to enough number of people, even in the cities, the fact is that many of them do not want to go out because A, they do not have the confidence as far as the opposition is concerned. They feel that there are problems, but they still think that Modi is the only person who can in fact fix those problems. That kind of Tina factor also adds to this low voter percentage, because many believe that what's the point? It's not that the opposition has given us a better choice, and that's also is a telling story, not only on the Congress party but also on the Aam Aadmi party, that most of the people in 2017 who there was a sense, you could feel it on the streets, that there was a sense, bahut ho gaya kind of a sense, they wanted to change. Many of them who voted for the Congress at that point of time now feel frustrated about the fact that they just could not go the last 100 meters as far as the race to the seat of the Chief Minister is concerned. And that's the reason why in urban areas, people don't feel too excited about going out and vote. But also the fact that the entire Gujarat model that people talk about, that is largely visible in the urban areas. You move out of Ahmedabad, you move out of Surat, you move out of Jamnagar, you move out of Rajkot, and a few kilometers down the line, you will find people, those who also feel that this entire development has only taken place for infrastructure, roads and industries, which has not trickled down in the last mile. For example, I went to Kevadia, the big statue of Sardar Patel there. The hope was for the Adivasis around that area, those who were displaced, that when the tourism industry picks up, they will be getting a lot of benefit out of it. The Adivasis there are extremely angry. And because of that,
motorcade now visible. Just talk us through what we are seeing now. We can see the Prime Minister's motorcade, several vehicles approaching this particular polling booth. For the benefit of our viewers, identify this polling booth. Give us an idea of what we can expect to see.
Okay, since Vishnu, I can't see those visuals because we are just waiting. You will see my camera on this very road where the Prime Minister's convoy is expected to come in from.
So we've got another feed coming in of this footage, which we've cut to Ankit, and basically these vehicles moving very, very slowly at this stage, and they should be headed to your direction very soon. A huge motorcade, as is usually the case when the Prime Minister travels. But again, just tell, for the benefit of our viewers, identify the booth where he's going to be voting. Amit Shah will be voting separately in Ahmedabad as well today. Bhupendra Patel also voting there. So give us an idea of these three huge faces.
very big ticket, in fact, leaders voting today in Ahmedabad. Like you said, Prime Minister, of course, at the voting booth where I am standing right now. In Naranpura is where we are expecting Amit Shah to vote, and he will be voting after the Prime Minister has exercised his franchise. You will also have Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel voting here. Hardik Patel will be voting in fact, Viramgam. Then in South, Gandhinagar in the Chandkheda constituency, Alpesh Thakur, Jignesh Mewani would be voting in his constituency. Isudan Gadvi, the face of the Aam Aadmi Party, the chief ministerial face, he is fighting the elections from, in fact, Kambalia, which voted in the first phase, but his own vote is in Ahmedabad. At 12 o'clock, he's expected to come and vote here in Ahmedabad. The Congress state leader, Mr. Thakur, is also voting here in Ahmedabad. So a lot of high-profile voters today exercising their franchise in the second phase. Governor Anandiben Patel, former Chief Minister of Gujarat, also, in fact, she's coming to vote down in Ahmedabad. And this excitement and the loud noise will tell you, Vishnu, that people, those who have been waiting for a couple of hours, also have a hint that the Prime Minister's convoy is near, and that's why a lot of excitement among the people. The very, familiar chants of Modi, Modi has started behind me. That would tell me that, there is an indication that the convoy is quite near.
In fact, Ankit, we can see the Prime Minister now. He's walking in the middle of that road, surrounded by his guards and waving to people and actually walking to that polling booth.
Okay, you can see in my visuals right now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi walking towards the polling booth where I'm standing right now, the Nishan School. On your screens right now, the Prime Minister is voting, dressed in a white kurta and a blue jacket. A lot of people, in fact, waving back at the Prime Minister. So as I was telling you, even on the day of voting, it eventually becomes an unexplained, disclosed or unlabeled a road show, and of course a campaign kind of a thing for the Prime Minister, who is right now, in fact, coming in. You will hear a lot of Modi, Modi chants behind me. His entire convoy right now of camp.
All right, Ankit, we are losing that audio with you, possibly because of jammers in the area. But what we are now seeing is the Prime Minister in Ahmedabad right now going to the booth where he's going to be voting in a school over there. And this motorcade has gone on for a while. He was at the Raj Bhavan, which he exited about 15 minutes back. And shortly before entering the booth itself, the Prime Minister exiting from his vehicle and then walking down this road, surrounded by his guards over there. This is a key moment, obviously, for the BJP, and I dare say this is a key moment for the entire election process. The BJP banks heavily on the identity of Narendra Modi, his association with Gujarat politics, the fact that they've been in power now for 27 years, and they believe they're going to fight off the incumbency factor very, very successfully this time around. But these images of the Prime Minister entering that school, greeted by some BJP workers over there as he's set to go in to cast his vote. Ankit, we've got you back on. Go ahead.
Being played out right outside these people on each side, in fact, waving to the Prime Minister, and as you will now see, the walking and going inside the polling station. Now the security vehicle. So standing here in excitement.
All right, we'll come back to Ankit in a while. That audio is still quite patchy as usual. We've got several cameras on the Prime Minister. We saw him exiting his vehicles. Sanket Upadhyay joins us now as the Prime Minister enters this polling booth. He's been greeted by many over there outside by BJP workers. Inside over here, I believe, by poll officials. We'll take him to the place where he will be voting. He tweeted earlier on today encouraging people, particularly young voters, to come out and vote. Let's see if we can listen in to some of the audio coming in from Ahmedabad at this polling booth. All right, Sanket Upadhyay, my colleague, joins us as well. Sanket, just run us through these images.
Absolutely. This is a very important election. 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 This is a Yes, so as we all know, the Prime Minister is a voter in Ahmedabad. This is a place called Ranip where he's casting his vote. And this second phase becomes very, very critical and crucial because of a number of factors. Number one, this is the dairy hub. Anand goes to polls and there is an almost 50% influence in all these districts that are going to polls. We also know that the Bharatiya Janata Party does phenomenally well as far as the urban centers are concerned. And two big urban centers go to polls in this election. One is Vadodara and the other is Ahmedabad. In Vadodara, there is an influence of over 13 seats. And in Ahmedabad, there is an influence of over 16 seats. If you note, the Prime Minister held road shows on 2 days. One road show was 50 kilometers long. It is said that this was the longest ever road show done by an Indian leader. Now, one way is to grandstand and position this as the longest road show. The other is what forces the Prime Minister to undertake a road show like this? Could this be the Aam Aadmi Party effect, or is the BJP desperately trying to urban strongholds in Ahmedabad, in Surat, in Vadodara and in other pockets so that they quickly and comfortably cross that halfway mark and do even better? So these are all the calculations that are being done. It's a high-stakes battle. 93 seats go to polls in phase 2. This is predominantly north and central Gujarat, which is going to polls. And the BJP hopes for a good show because in 2017, when the BJP's vote share was at an all-time low, the result was almost 50-50. 50% of the seats, almost 50% seats went to the Congress party. It is this dynamic which the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to challenge and change. It will be very interesting on whether this happens or not, because in phase 1 there was this major concern over the reduced vote percentage, which means not many people coming out to vote. However, it seems, at least initially, that some people have taken the advice of the Election Commission and they are coming out to vote. Now, whether this trend will continue all through the day is something that will be interesting. And as always, Vishnu, as happens in every election, particularly when it is a prestige matter in a home state, the Prime Minister is the face and he is spearheading the entire campaign and the election for the BJP.
All right. So, Mr. Modi, just about going ahead and voting over there. He's entered the booth right now. And he will be casting his vote on the electronic voting machine. So, Sanket, a huge day today as we see images of the Prime Minister voting. It's taken him half a second to get this process complete. He is thanking all of the poll workers and the others over there. So, Sanket, end of day is when exit polls start coming out. So, there'd be possibly an indicator of where these elections are headed. So, lots of excitement in terms of programming later today as we see the Prime Minister exiting this polling booth.
Well, exactly. I mean, exit polls will give us a sense of what the pollsters think of these elections, particularly in Gujarat. And the one variable that has been added this time around is the entry of the third player, which is the Aam Aadmi Party. How serious a player is the Aam Aadmi Party in Gujarat will be determined. What will be their vote share will be determined by these pollsters. However, there is always this health warning with the exit polls that they may or may not be right. I mean, the Aam Aadmi Party is also very generous.
All right, Sanket, half a second. Let's go back to Ankit, who's over there outside this poll booth. Go ahead, Ankit.
Wanting a selfie as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, few voters as well. He has come out of the... You can see a few young voters and others, polling staff as well, those who wanted a picture with the Prime Minister. And as he moves away from my frame, as we speak, there are a lot of people, in fact, those who are wanting a glimpse and a picture of the Prime Minister. I will show you the kind of frenzy that has been created in the park behind me. People are running to try and get a glimpse of the Prime Minister and those who've been waiting on their rooftops. The Prime Minister at least has not disappointed his fans, and he's gone all across. He's walked from that direction, has come here, waved to those people, those who were standing behind the polling booth, and now has gone to the other side as well. So these visuals which are coming to you outside the Prime Minister's polling station, quite telling of the popularity that
All right, we're just losing those signals with Ankit every now and again. Lots of jammers and the like over here in this area. Bandwidth issues as well, as you can expect, with so many media personnel deployed over there. But what we are now seeing, the Prime Minister headed back. He actually got off his motorcade a little while earlier on, walked down the middle of this road surrounded by his guards, and he has cast his vote a couple of hours after, appealing to young voters and everybody else in Gujarat to actually cast their vote as well. Let's go back to Ankit. Ankit, go ahead.
Okay, Vishnu, if, you know what I'll try and do as the Prime Minister's motorcade has left and things settle down a bit, the frenzy settles a bit. I think what we are being told that the Prime Minister is going to make a turn and he's going to go from the same area. So we are waiting for this entire thing to clear, and the Prime Minister, in fact, just walking across and talking to a few people, there. I'll try. What I'll try and do, I'll speak to a few people, those who are trying to get a selfie with the Prime Minister. आप लोग यहाँ पे ड्यूटी पे थे क्या?
नहीं, मैं यहाँ के स्टाफ में ही हूँ, यहाँ स्कूल के
स्टाफ में हैं आप। तो आपको मैंने देखा आप लोग दौड़ रहे थे प्राइम मिनिस्टर के साथ एक फोटो के लिए।
हाँ, फोटो के लिए बहुत इच्छा थी। मैं बाहर से आई हूँ, यूएस से।
हाँ जी।
तो उनके साथ फोटो लेना था मुझे।
अच्छा, तो आप पोलिंग ड्यूटी पे हैं आज?
नहीं, मैं ट्रस्टी में हूँ, इसलिए।
अच्छा, और आप भी मैम, आप भी फोटो चाह रही थी प्राइम मिनिस्टर के साथ?
हाँ, मैं फोटो चाह रही थी।
आप यहीं से अहमदाबाद से?
हाँ, मैं ट्रस्टी के साथ, ट्रस्टी की डॉटर।
आपका वोट हो गया?
नहीं,
अभी नहीं हुआ।
I'm not eligible for voting now.
You do not get eligible for the voting.
Yeah.
So you saw the Prime Minister. What happened inside? What was he saying to the staff?
He was just doing like this, and everyone was so excited.
Yeah.
So he just walk off and just say Jai Hind. That's it.
Okay, didn't speak. He didn't say anything else.
Get a chance to speak with him. So.
All right. So now Prime Minister has left. Disappointed you couldn't get a selfie with him?
No, not at all. Yeah, it was but there was a security, so we couldn't get a chance to take the photo.
The Prime Minister, of course, is. Thank you so much for with this security cordon. So you saw these, and I saw many others, those who were running, trying to catch a selfie, get a selfie with the Prime Minister. I will also try and get Harshad Bhai and ask him what did the Prime Minister, in fact, say to him. Because when he came, he was standing right here, and then the Prime Minister patted on his back and said something to him. So we'll try and speak to him and see if we can get a word, understand from him what was the words that were spoken to him by the Prime Minister. He in fact seems to be and for the sheer fact that the Prime Minister votes in his constituency, that I'm sure is a factor as far as campaign is concerned, and of course his entire electoral calculation is concerned. That will be an important factor when he would be calculating his chances as far as the Sabarmati constituency, which the BJP, mind you, has not lost in the last 3 elections. So that is also one factor, and the Prime Minister has been voting at this very constituency for ever since he was the Chief Minister. So going back to 2002, he has been voting at this very school, at this very constituency, and that's why every time, every election when he comes here, this kind of arrangement, this kind of frenzy does follow Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What we are being told is that the Prime Minister, he is left, the convoy has left. There is still some SPG though, which is standing where we are standing right now. Mr. Patel is busy talking to the media, so we'll try and wait and try and get in a word from him as well. But very, very important and crucial, as we have been talking about the voting percentage, Vishnu and Sanket, whether this election commission's very unusual appeal in middle of an election, does it have an impact? Because Ahmedabad is coloured with orange posters of election commission asking people to in fact come out in big numbers and vote. And Ahmedabad, remember, in these 93 seats which have gone, which are voting right now, 23 of those seats come from Ahmedabad city and rural, 16 in the city area, and if you calculate around the rural as well, that constitutes 23 seats overall. So out of the 93, 23 seats are in the city of Ahmedabad, and that is where, of course, then Gandhinagar. So in the urban pockets, the BJP, it's crucial for the BJP, because even in the last time in central and central and North Gujarat, the Congress did well. हर्षद भाई, क्या बोला प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आपको? आप मिले थे उनसे अभी? आके आपके कंधे पे
प्रधानमंत्री ने यही बोला कि भैया ये जो सारे मतदाता है ना, उनको हाथ जोड़ के विनती करो कि अब आधे घंटे में उनका मतदान पूरा करें। वो आपके चैनल से मैं इन सबको बताऊं
कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग आके वोट करें।
हाँ बिल्कुल, जो मतदार है वो सब अपने अपने क्षेत्र में जाए और 1 बजे के पहले 50% का मतदान तुम्हारी विधानसभा में हो जाएगा।
अच्छा, तो तैयारी कर ली आपने लोगों को लेके आने के मतदान कराने की?
तैयारी तो हमारी पहले से ही है, वरना तो मैं 2-3 घंटे इनके जाने के बाद आधे घंटे आपके सामने संवाद करने के लिए खड़ा भी नहीं रह सकता।
कुछ डर है क्या हर्षद भाई बीजेपी को कि इस बार वोटिंग परसेंटेज कम हुआ है? पहले फेज में भी कम हो गया था, शहरों में कम है वोटिंग परसेंटेज।
डर मुझे तो है ही नहीं। डर किसको है वो आप निकाल दो, जिसमें है वो। और जैसे वो मतदान कम है इसके बारे में बात करें तो जो संघर्ष है ना, स्पर्धा है, वो बहुत कम है। अब भाजपा है, बाकी के कोई पक्ष है नहीं, तो सब मतदाता इसमें जितना माहौल नहीं बनता, तो माहौल नहीं बनने के कारण जो भाजपा का है तो वो तो बन रहा है, इसका तो मतदान हो ही रहा है।
शहर में इसीलिए मोदी जी ने 2 रोड शो करे कि लोगों मतदाता बाहर निकल के आए, वोट करें।
बिल्कुल, वैसे तो ये परिश्रमी आदमी है, परिश्रम करना है और इसको बताना है भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता तो हम कहाँ भी पहुंचे, लेकिन पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को अपनी ओर से दिशा दर्शन करवानी है। वो परिश्रम करेगा तो इसको देख के सारे कार्यकर्ता परिश्रम करेंगे।
जी आगे वोट करके गए, कॉन्फिडेंस थोड़ा हाई हो गया आपका जीतने वाले का?
नहीं, कॉन्फिडेंस तो पहले से ही है, फिर भी माननीय नरेंद्र भी आए तो इससे पक्का जो कॉन्फिडेंस था वो दृढ़ हो गया।
चलिए, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हर्षद भाई। So he is the candidate, here at the Sabarmati constituency. The Prime Minister came, spoke to him, and as he was telling us, the Prime Minister said that make sure that the voters do come out and go and appeal to them to come out and vote in huge numbers. That's also, a lot of people, Election Commission and others would also be hoping that the voting percentage does go high, in the second round. And, Vishnu, Sanket, it doesn't matter who wins and who loses, but it is an important day in the democracy of this country, and of course elections are always important, so people should come out and exercise their franchise for whichever party or whichever promises that they like to. But a low voting percentage, especially in the urban cities, and we saw that in Delhi as well in the MCD elections yesterday in the first phase of Gujarat as well. That's a worrying sign, and that's what Mr. Patel was also telling us. The Prime Minister told him to ensure through his workers that more and more people should come out and vote here. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much. So lots of excitement over there. The Prime Minister has cast his vote just a little while back. We'll come back to Ankit for a lot more of Ahmedabad. But Tanushri has been waiting very, very patiently because there's been a lot of excitement where she's reporting from as well. The Chief Minister, Bhupendra Patel, has cast his vote just a little while back. There were dhols around him. Give us an idea of what you saw, Tanushri.
Well, Vishnu, it almost looked like that the BJP has already won the election, or it's some wedding situation, because I actually went out to see that why the dhols are already here. It's a polling day, but we saw that the incumbent Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, who is also BJP's CM face, he was here to cast his very important ballot, and I'll ask the camera person to pan around. Some of the BJP workers also, tens of BJP workers in fact also came in with him, and they are wearing saffron turbans, though when I asked them very categorically as to don't you think it's a violation of the code, they were actually very agitated with me, and they said no, it's a tradition of Gujaratis to wear a saffron turban. So that is what these people are saying. They are BJP workers. They came in with dhols and all kind of celebrations, and I asked the Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel that, sir, what do you think? Though he did not answer, but he smiled at the camera. But I'll tell you, as Ankit was rightly mentioning, that which party wins, which party loses doesn't really matter. What What matters is that people come out in large numbers and cast their ballot, use their franchise, which is very, very important. And I'll show you. We are right now in Ghatlodia constituency. This is Shilaj Gaon, where Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, the incumbent Chief Minister, cast his ballot, and there is already a huge queue of voters which we have been witnessing since the morning. There are first-time voters. There was a 92-year-old woman who cast her ballot. She also gave a message through our channel that more people should come out to cast their ballot. We have young voters, women, we have men, we have old people, all here to give vote as they feel it's their responsibility. आप लोगों से एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगी. बहुत जरूरी बात है आज वोट देना. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी बोला था, इलेक्शन कमीशन ने भी बोला था. पिछली बार गुजरात में फर्स्ट फेज में थोड़ा कम पोलिंग हुआ था. मैम, जब आप वोट देने आते हैं, किसको देते हैं मुझे मत बताइएगा. क्या इश्यूज रहते हैं दिमाग में, क्या रहता है कि ये सोच के इस बार मैं वोट डाल रही हूँ. पानी, बिजली, एम्प्लॉयमेंट, क्या कुछ भी.
So I am currently studying now, so it is more lean towards the education of our state and betterment of every students.
Right.
And also the general obstacles that we face on regular basis. And
What kind of obstacles?
Yeah, it can be related to our roads, bridges, traffic, and mostly, the empowerment of women that we, want in our particular state.
Right. So you want women to get more empowered in the state. Thank you. Ma'am, आप बताइए, when you vote, when you cast your very important ballot, what do you think? क्या रहता है दिमाग में that this is an issue for a woman? What do you do?
Women safeties,
right?
And all lots of things, right? जैसे कि रोड है, एजुकेशन है, बहुत सारी ऐसी सिचुएशंस कभी-कभी हो जाती है कि जो चीज़ इजीली होनी चाहिए वो होती नहीं.
इजीली जो मिलना चाहिए वो नहीं.
हाँ, वो नहीं मिलता है कभी-कभी. जैसे कि एजुकेशंस है, जो वो पॉलिसी है कभी-कभी चेंज हो जाती है, जो वो ऑलरेडी अप्लाई किया हुआ है वो वे में नहीं है, तो वो इश्यूज है.
करेक्ट. माता जी, आपसे अगर बात कर पाए, आप यहाँ अपना मतदान देने आई हैं, क्या रहता है दिमाग में जब मतदान देते हैं? तो
मत देना, मुझे कहीं कुछ नहीं.
बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं इस बार महंगाई बहुत ज्यादा है, इन्फ्लेशन इज अ मेजर. इज इट?
It's very high.
Yeah?
Correct.
Do you think it's an election issue?
No, I don't think so. It's an election issue. It's an overall country issue.
It's an overall country issue.
Correct. Yes.
So when you will be giving casting your vote, do you think that is going to be one of the major issues in your mind?
I think so. Yes. Yeah? It should be.
It should be, right.
Yeah,
I'll also try and take some questions from, in fact, the people, the BJP workers who are still wearing the saffron turbans, if I may. सर, अगर आप लोगों से एक जल्दी से सवाल ले पाऊँ, आप लोग अपना वोट देने यहाँ खड़े हैं, मतदान जब करते हैं तो दिमाग में क्या मुद्दा रहता है? एज वोटर्स क्या मुद्दा रहता है? अच्छा, सबसे पहले बताइए, बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग, आप लोगों ने टर्बन पहना हुआ, कलर बड़ा
हमारी अस्मिता है.
हाँ, आप लोग सीएम के साथ आए, मैंने देखा बड़े ढोल, बड़ी सेलिब्रेशन थी. ऐसा मुझे तो ऑलमोस्ट लगा कि कोई
हर्ष है सीएम के लिए.
अच्छा, सीएम के लिए हर्ष है.
हर्ष है.
हाँ, तो ऐसा मुझे लगा कि ऑलरेडी आप लोग सेलिब्रेशन शुरू कर
विन है. 2 लाख से ज्यादा वोट से.
अच्छा.
और गुजरात में सबसे ज्यादा सीट से लीड आएगी. घाटलोडिया की लीड सबसे ज्यादा गुजरात में 182 सीट में ज्यादा ही होगी.
हाँ, पर अभी क्योंकि आप लोग वोट करने आए हैं, वोटर का क्या मुद्दा लगता है अहमदाबाद में?
वोटर का ज्यादा से ज्यादा मतदान करने का और विकास के लिए ये सब लोग वोट करने का बीजेपी को.
तो ढोल वापस चले गए कि अभी भी रखा हुआ है बाहर?
अभी बाहर है.
बाहर रखा है, वापस बजाना शुरू कर देंगे?
हाँ, वापस बजाना चालू होगा.
अच्छा. So Vishnu, that's what they are saying, that they have still kept the dhols outside and they feel that the BJP is going to win hands down, but they are here to cast their ballot. Just a short while back, the incumbent Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel cast his ballot and he went off, and we tried and asked him some questions. He did not answer, but he did smile at the camera, which giving basically a confident look that he is going to come back. But I'll tell you that the most important thing which should be happening, that more voters should be coming out. That is happening, at least till now, in Ahmedabad, or an urban pocket where the election commission said that there is a urban voters apathy which can be seen, which was witnessed in the last phase where the polling percentage was low. But here there's a huge queue. Voters are coming out in large numbers to cast their important ballot. They feel it's their duty, and we will also give a message for the voters of Ahmedabad to come out in large numbers and cast their very important ballot.
Well, we tried to reach out to Tanur. Actually, tried to reach out to Bhupendra Patel, the Chief Minister, the incumbent Chief Minister. Here's what his reaction was.
आज गुजरात में लोकशाही का पर्व का उत्सव मनाया जा रहा है। प्रथम चरण के मतदान पूर्ण हो गए हैं। आज दूसरे चरण का मतदान शुरू हुआ है। सब गुजरात के मतदार आज दूसरे चरण में भी शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से सब इसमें भाग लेंगे और भारी मतदान करेंगे।
Well, joining us now, Sanjay Rana, somebody who's been tracking these elections very, very closely. Mr. Rana, we've seen, I suppose, the moment of these elections, as far as perhaps the voting phase is concerned, the Prime Minister getting out of his car, walking down that road, waving to people. How important was this moment for the BJP? It ultimately boils down to Modi and his identity, right?
Yeah, Vishnu, good morning to you. And absolutely, it's very, very important for the BJP and BJP Gujarat. I would say that if you know that obviously it was they were facing some problem last year. That's why they have changed the complete government. And after that, you have seen that PM Modi has taken a driving seat. He's driving the complete election. He has done, I think, more than 70, 80, I would say that Sabha in Gujarat. What is showing that obviously people have something in their mind for the BJP, but once it's come to the when they talk about the Prime Minister, they have a full trust on the Prime Minister, and they are going to vote for BJP because of Prime Minister, not because of Gujarat BJP. So, and mostly, PM Modi knows very well. That's why he has been there, parked himself for from last 1 month. I would say he's absolutely doing 2-3 rallies, 2 to 3, 4 rallies in a day, which is for PM is really a difficult task because he's not only the Prime Minister, but he's also taking care of elections. So if you're asking, it's obviously PM is making life easy for the Bharatiya Janata Party Gujarat cadre, I would say. But if you look at Congress Party, Vishnu, obviously Congress Party has not put his energy and the strategy in the place. That's why he's giving a catwalk for BJP to win this, I would say, win Gujarat election. As for the prediction, as for the inputs, what I'm getting from the ground, they are edging for sure. If you look at the vote percent, obviously, if you're comparing with 2017, that's 2017 was approximately 72%, and if you look at the phase 1 percent, it was 63 point some odd percentage, and I don't know how it's going to be today, but we are expecting somewhere around 60 to 65%. But again, whether it's 60 to 65%, 70% doesn't matter because opposition is not at all there, and the third party or third contestant, I would say, came into the picture, but it's not giving a tough competition to the BJP. It was looking 2 months back, obviously, AAP or Congress is going to be a tough competition for BJP, Vishnu, but at this point of time, I don't see any
half a second, because the images that we see on our screen are actually of the Prime Minister, not this one, the next one is of a house, and the Prime Minister has gone to meet his brother over there. And then he's going to spend some time and he's going to go. It's interesting, his brother's residence actually very close to where he's voting. In fact, just down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, all these visuals, whatever is coming on the screen, it motivates the voter to come out and cast the vote. Because anyway, if the Prime Minister or Home Minister or any senior leaders coming for a vote, casting their vote motivates others to come out from their houses. So it's really, I would say, it's a kind of festival for everyone. It's a democracy. We are living in a democratic country, and it's make a huge difference. Sure. But again, I'm saying, Vishnu, I was expecting, if you're asking as an analyst, I was expecting Congress to do much better. But I can't see that they have put the energy and the things in place. And I don't know how much seat they are going to win and what would be the percentage. If you look at the percentage, last voting percentage, I would say between 30 to 42%. I don't know how much is going to be this in this election, but for sure we are going to miss Congress for sure. And as Prime Minister Modi made life easy for BJP Gujarat,
right?
In my views.
Sanjay ji, we'll need to take a short break. Thanks very much for joining us and sharing those views. The image that you see on your screen, the Prime Minister at that residence, it's the residence of his brother. He comes out in a little while from now. We'll take a short break. Gujarat voting, phase 2 of these elections. Stay tuned.